Good evening from Tel Aviv. The news in Israel today has been dominated by reports from Syria. Those reports included the interview last night by Syrian Foreign Minister and today by President Assad of Syria. In both cases, they were threatening Israel on one hand, and second, claiming that Syria has already received delivery of some of the advanced anti-aircraft missiles that Russia has been promising them. The only problem with that claim is Israeli sources deny it's possible, that no missiles have been delivered to this point. It's not at all clear that Russia has decided to deliver the missiles. It'll take 6 months from the time they decide to deliver, and an additional 6 months for them to become operational. So as usual, Assad has been disseminating false information, which is pretty much his MO. In the meantime, the split between Hezbollah and Hamas has gotten even stronger. For a few hours today, there were reports that Hezbollah has demanded that all Hamas people leave Lebanon because of Hamas's support of the rebels in Syria. Once again, the issue between Shiite and Sunni has become the most important issue. Everything else is becoming secondary in the Middle East. In the meantime, based on the fact that the Syrians seem to have repeatedly used chemical weapons within their conflict inside Syria, despite the fact that the United States is still looking into it, it's been decided in Israel to expand the distribution of gas masks to the rest of the Israeli population. Only 40% of the population currently has gas masks. The rest of the population will be distributed gas masks in the coming months at an expense of 1.2 billion shekels. How Israel is going to pay for it is not exactly clear, but obviously it's the correct decision considering what the Syrians have been doing to their own people. We can imagine what they would want to do to us if they could. Meanwhile, in domestic affairs, much of the discussion in the past week has been the passage of the new law, or I should say more correctly, the recommendations to pass the new law that would draft the Haredim into the army. There's a lot of questions whether this is going to accomplish very much, whether it's mostly spin, whether it's actually going to bring one Haredi into the army. However, what is absolutely true is in other areas things have been changing rather rapidly. Number one, the housing ministry today announced new criteria for getting housing. As opposed to what had been in the previous government, those families with the largest number of kids or have been married the longest period of time would be first on line. Now the first on line are families where both parents work. Second on line, people who've gone into the army. Everybody else, wait in line. That turns the criteria upside down, and of course it helps young secular families as opposed to Haredi families. Number two, decision was made today to extend daylight savings time through October instead of ending it for Yom Kippur. Suddenly Israelis have gotten back another hour through much of the fall like the rest of the world. Couldn't be done through all these years when the Haredim were in the government, but it was done in one particular moment this time. In addition, tonight it was announced that the Ministry of Religious Affairs is no longer going to support community rabbis. In other words, not appoint rabbis in a particular community. Instead, any community that gets together can request funding to pay for a rabbi. That includes Reform, conservative communities, and that includes supporting women rabbis. Sometimes good things happen here too. This is Mark Schulman from Tel Aviv. Good night.